All right, guys. Well, welcome to the first meetup of my version of the Las Vegas Day Traders meetup group. We are going to get started here. There will probably be a lot of people who end up coming in late, but I will be recording it. So anybody who missed the beginning will get the recording after we're done here. So what I want to do here with the Day Traders meetup is have a group for experienced traders and beginner traders to kind of mix it up and give some of the more experienced traders a platform to teach and share the way they trade. So that will help out people who are new, and then give the new people a chance to be around some of the more experienced and even some of the professional traders who are here in the Las Vegas Valley. And so the way I'd like to do it is we have kind of a formal meetup once a month, kind of like what we're doing now, except in person. So this is just because of the main venue I'd like to use is not open, or they're not opening their event space because of COVID and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully next month we'll get a spot and we'll actually do this in person, and it'll be a lot easier for us to kind of mingle and meet each other. And we'll do more of a formal meetup. People can do presentations, and so that'll go that way. So what we do today here, we'll end up doing live in person in some type of venue of some shape or form. And the other thing that I was thinking about doing, and we might end up kind of doing next month, is meeting in person for more of like a social meet, and we can do some kind of live trading. So if you want to come and bring your screen and your PC or your Mac and some extra screens, and you want to live trade and other people are trading similar products to you, then you can just kind of trade with each other and we can all talk about trading and life and everything like that. So we'll have kind of 2 meetings per month, and then we'll just see what happens. Maybe we'll end up getting a group of traders who all like trading one thing, and maybe they have their own kind of meetup every month under the Las Vegas Day Trader headline, and we'll go from there. So with that being said, we don't have a lot of time because we do have 4 presenters tonight, 4 awesome people who stepped up, and these are not people who paid to do the presentation to get an audience. These are strictly people who are members of the Day Traders Meetup, and they step forward to do their presentations. Now, some of us are professional traders, professional trading psychologists, and things like that. But there's going to be a lot of useful information for anybody who's looking to level up in their trading game and take it, try to get to that professional level if you're not there yet. And you have a resource in all of us here. I'm sure all of us are willing to help. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm willing to help. And we all have our own approaches to trading. We're all trading different things, and we all even have our own trading businesses. So for me, I own JT Futures, which is a futures trading education and coaching company. And I also do trading education and coaching for a company called Day Trade Like a Pro. I run a morning trade room for the S&P 500 futures, and we're killing it. No joke, we took it long just before the open and rode it all the way. We forecasted 41.64 for the market to get there today. We took it long at, what was it, 41.30, somewhere down there, and we rode it all the way up to 41.63, right in front of 64. And we kill it every morning. So if you're interested in my trade room, reach out, or you can go to JT Futures and kind of find out how you can get more information on that. With that being said, we're going to get started. And what I'd like to do is, there's not as many people as I thought. With 54 people signing up with the meetup, I thought we would probably have 20 who showed up. We only have maybe 10 or 15, which is fine. And what I'd like to do is, we don't have a lot of time to really intermingle here, but I want to do a poll. So for everyone that is in the room, if you've been trading for less than a year, or say from the last, from 0 to 1 years, put a 0 in the chat so we all know that you're a new trader. If you've been trading for 2 to 5 years, put a 2. And if you've been trading for more than 5 years, put a 5. So we can see kind of where everyone is at. We have a lot of people who are pretty experienced here. People have been trading for more than 5 years. So I'll put that in as well. That's me. And so we've got some beginners. We've got a decent amount of really experienced traders, and some people who look like they're kind of just getting on their journey, about 2 years into it. And so we got a good mix of a bunch of different experience levels, which is great. I love that, 0.75. That's awesome. Now the next thing I want to ask everyone is what you're trading. So we're going to do it like this. If you trade futures, if that's kind of the main thing you focus on, put an F in the chat. If you trade Forex, if that's your main gig, put an FX. If you've been trading stocks, put an S. And then if you trade mainly options, put an O. And that way we have an idea of kind of where everyone is and what they're focusing on as a trader. And so it looks like we have a decent amount of stock traders and futures traders and just a few Forex traders. Now there probably is an overlap. So if you do more than one, you can go ahead and just, like Shirley did, FX and options. And so that way we are recording this, and we at least we get an idea of where everyone is. And that's great right there. Oh, I forgot about crypto. So if you're doing crypto, that'll be a C. So we'll do futures, Forex, stocks, options, and crypto. And crypto is really, really killing it for the last few years, really. If you bought in after that big spike back in, what was it, November 2017, where we got to 20,000 and then it pulled back. If you just started buying any of the cryptos, I have a bunch of Ethereum and Litecoin just because that was, you get more purchasing power by, the ones that are worth less, more chances for doubling and all that. So I have some of the smaller ones. And if you just bought that for over the last few years after the huge spike, you're probably sitting on a nice lump of money right now. So outside of that, the last question I have for everyone is, are you trading full-time, meaning all you do for your income is trading? Or the other case would be you pretty much every morning are sitting down and trading, and that's kind of all you do. So are you full-time? Put an FT. And then if you're part-time, meaning maybe you just sit in the morning for a half hour, you put a trade on, and then you go to work or something like that, or you're just learning. So you have your main gig and you just want to learn, just put PT. And so we get an idea of who's really kind of a professional here and who is more learning and maybe hasn't gotten to the point of being professional just yet. So we've got a good, pretty much most people are part-time, they're trading, maybe not for a living. Maybe it's just kind of a hobby or a way to a way of investing. So a decent amount of part-time. We have a few full-time. It looks like pretty much the people who are presenting are more full-time, but we do have some other people. Charles, let's see, Joe, Charles, a few other people who are full-time here. And so we do have a decent mix again of some pretty experienced traders, and then we have some people that are fairly new or are just on their journey to getting to profitability. So pretty good mix of people here. And so this is probably the best way to have a lot of people in a room kind of just introduce themselves and let everyone know kind of where they're at. Now in the future, we'll have better, we'll be in person and we'll be able to kind of talk to each other and network and all that. Just the situation with everything going on in the world, this was the most convenient way to get everyone together. So without further ado, we have 4 presentations for you today. Again, these are people who are members of the Las Vegas Day Traders Meetup, and they stepped forward to offer their take on trading. And We have 4 different topics. So we actually have one of the top trading coaches I think in the world, if not in the United States, who's with us today. So we're blessed to have her give us the first presentation tonight on what I think is the most important topic in trading. It doesn't matter if you have the best system in the world. Believe me, I work with traders who have some of the best systems in the world. I followed them for years and I lost money and they were making money. And so a lot of trading is going to be about the psychological aspect. And we have a top trading coach with us today who's going to be the first presenter and really probably the most important topic of trading. Once you learn a strategy, it takes you a few months, a year to kind of understand the strategy and ingrain it. After that, it's all in your head. It's all controlling emotions, getting over losses, all that kind of stuff. So I'll let the professional talk about that, the professional trading coach. And then after that, we have a trader who's been trading, I believe, professionally. He was on the trading floor, wherever it was, whether it was Chicago or New York, or and he'll get into that, and he's going to teach you his trading strategy using the MACD. And after that, we have a trader he's going to remain anonymous. He's got a trading alias that he's going to use, and he runs a Forex trading room on Discord. So I believe it's free to join, and they're doing kind of trading competitions. They have opportunities to join a Forex proprietary trading firm where they'll actually supply money to you. If you can prove that you can trade well, then they will actually fund you and give you money to trade. So he'll be doing the third presentation. And finally, we have, I would call the Las Vegas Valley's automated trading wizard, Martin Kucira, who's here, he's developed a number of different trading algorithms. He's got something called Predict Trader, which if you are uncomfortable with trading, he has a program where as long as you sign up, it will trade for you. So you just turn the application on and it will find the best trades to get into. And you can make money just running this program. And so he's going to talk about a number of different things, and I'll probably talk about that specific Predict Trader, which I can vouch for. I've used, and it makes money. Again, there's going to be trade management things outside of that, when to turn it on, when to close it out. But I believe he's running a trade room where he's actually going to show you live when you should start the program and all that. I don't want to get into it because he'll give you the details. So with all that being said, we're going to get started, and we have Robin Dane, one of the world's top trading psychologists and trading coaches. So Robin, you can go ahead and take it away, and I will go back to my beautiful beach here and just sit back and enjoy the show. So take it away.
Okay, first, can you see me and see my screen?
Everything, we can see everything, and I do hear you.
And you can see the first slide.
Yeah, I see the trading floor there, avoiding Superman.
Great. As long as everybody can see me on that, that's great. Let me get where's my chat disappeared? Hold on. My chat was there and then it disappeared. I don't know where it went.
Right at the bottom. Can you hear me? Yeah, right at the bottom. If you move your cursor over I
got the list. I've got participant list, but the chat itself, can somebody just type in the chat room? Maybe it'll pop up. Oh, hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay, got it. Thank you. That helped me. Okay, appreciate that. Okay, first of all, thank you for having me. I always get very excited to talk to traders. That's what I love to do. I've been doing it for a long time. Thanks, Jay, for pulling all this together. It's really a pain in the neck to do all this. And if you have any questions during the session, please write them down and I will talk about them at the end. And you can either put them in the chat room and I'll cover it at the end, or if it's really critical in the moment, I'll try to answer them. So with that, let me get going here. As always, I do a non-disclosure for this. I don't want this to go out all over the net, even though we're going to publish it. I've done this for 29 years and people have a tendency to steal my stuff. So unless you've asked, and Jay has asked, he's got permission to post the whole presentation together with everybody else's. Okay, Wall Street to a little bit of my background. Forgive me if you have heard me before. Basically, I started out as a professional dancer at 13 in New York at the old Metropolitan Opera House. Wish I could do that again. I had 15 years in high tech, and my last corporate job was 9 years at Digital Equipment Corp. I was 8 years as a Tony Robbins trainer and coach, and as 1 year on online support. I had a radio show called Elite Masters of Trading, so I interviewed the top traders around the country. And for the past 29 years, I've been a performance coach, but mostly focusing on traders. But I also do young athletes and work on their psychology as their proteges in tennis or lacrosse, or I work with kids usually aged 19 to 19, which I really love doing. And for when I started my day trading career, I was 3 years in the heaviest day trading firm on Wall Street, and I learned to trade there. I coached and I built one of the best training programs, so they tell me, on Wall Street at the time. And all of the things that were happening at that time seem to be repeating today, which is really amazing because I never thought I'd see it again. I was 9 years as a resident coach for Tudor Investment. It's one of the largest hedge funds in New York with Paul Tudor Jones, and I coached the top traders there in management. I did most recently 2.5 years as a coach in the Miller Dane trading room, and that kind of like dissipated. So we didn't. I think it's still going, but I'm not doing much work there. I've been on all these different venues, and I don't mean to brag about them, but I was on CNBC the third year after I started. So enough about that. Let's get into the stuff. There's more on my website if you need to do that. There's 3 areas of trading that can go off when you're trading. And I'm talking to experienced traders, but the new traders need to be aware of this too, because when you have this information, maybe it will prevent you from doing the mistakes. Although sometimes you have to experience the mistakes to really get it, but hopefully I can show you a few things, because this is a little twist to what trading can offer. There's a lot of different parts of trading that affect the mind. I also want to make sure you know I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not, I don't have a degree. I've just been doing this a very, very long time. I have data, and I have those repetitive things that a trader goes through. Plus I went through them myself. So that's where my experience comes from, and I'm very good at what I do. When I interviewed at Tudor, I interviewed with 5 other coaches that wrote books and were psychologists, and we were interviewed by 7 of their top traders, and I was the only coach that all 7 traders picked. So I have something different and unique, and I hopefully can share it with you, and you can pick up some things along the way. I love trading. I love this business. So here are the 3 areas that can go off. A strategy. If that's not working consistently, a trader that's new will go out and try to find another strategy, pay for another one that doesn't work, pay for another one that doesn't work, and they spend a lot of money, but they don't get consistency. So the strategy that you pick And the teacher that you get to teach that strategy makes a difference. An execution process. You want to have an efficient execution process and a system that you can rely on, and you want to, have that working well, know what your buttons mean, and know what's on the screen. And I can't tell you how many people I get and they don't know how to find something. These systems nowadays, back in the old days, we didn't have Windows even. When I first started, we didn't have Windows. We didn't have charts. We traded from a level 3 screen, and we traded stocks, and we had one screen with charts on it. And that monitor was between about 5 people. And if you could get a guy to change the chart, you were in good shape. Mostly they wouldn't take the time to even help you. So now you have so much information. You have actually additional information that is almost an overwhelm. You can go into overwhelm. So be careful and keep things simplified. But the main thing that crosses over everything is an out of control mindset. You can have the best system in the world, and which is the most dangerous is the out of control mindset, because everything can happen there. So let's keep going here. The mind. A strategy can work, but is contaminated by emotional reactions. If you're trading emotionally, then you might be trading with what I call an emotional block. And blocks are very common, but most people don't know if they have a block or not. They don't realize it. A trading system that is not leveraged but polluted by fear, hesitation, uncertainty on entries and exits. So if your mind is going into fears, then the best trading system won't help you. Out of control mindset that falls prey to autopilot mode. When you have a block and that's kicking in, which means if you have any kind of emotion whatsoever, you probably have a block, then you go into autopilot mode. Why? Because those memories and those thoughts are coming from your subconscious memory. A subconscious memory. If you're in your conscious mind and you're thinking and working in your conscious mind, then you're doing well. But as soon as you don't focus and you slip, your subconscious will take over and go into autopilot. When winning is a disaster, is as disastrous as losing. Now you're going to say, well, I win. How could it be disastrous? Well, this is what can happen. Winning can be have an adverse effect on a trader's mind, depending on the trader's relationship with money. We all have a direct correlation with our concept or relationship to money. So my high-end traders that were trading at Tudor, they didn't worry if they lost $1,000. They were trading millions of dollars at a time, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But a new trader who's just starting out and they lose, $1,000, that could be a lot of money. So your relationship to money makes a big difference on how your mind deals with it. How many winning trades they had consecutively. So if you have a lot of winning trades, one after another, and you're feeling really strong and good, that's great. But what happens is this can set you up for something that's really disastrous. How much money they gained more than usual. Let's say your trading went really, really well and you were making lots of money. And especially with the markets moving the way they are, and with what's happening in crypto, these numbers can get really big. Did they break a losing streak? So maybe you were losing and all of a sudden your strategy kicked in and everything started to work. And so if you did that and your winning trades were getting bigger and bigger and bigger, one after another, again, this could be a good thing if you control it and a bad thing if you don't. This all stimulates Superman syndrome. Da, 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 da. Superman syndrome is the mind by building overconfidence, bending the rules. So you have overconfidence when you have Superman syndrome. You're very, very confident because you had all these wins and you were making a lot of money. You were bending the rules that maybe were keeping you safe before. You felt really strong. You were going into the no fear zone, that you were invincible and that you were doing really, really well. Maybe you were taking unnecessary risks in the trade. You might have been falling into trader's trance, letting your ego prevail, forgetting common sense, and addressing any physical reactions. When you go into a fear, you can actually have physical reactions in your body. I had a trader that was really bad. I haven't run across one in a while, but when he traded, he placed a trade, he would physically get sick. That's when the mind-body connection is so strong and he's got such a strong block. His mind is trying to stop him from trading. And so it literally manifests in a physical ailment, headaches, migraines. So your mind is very connected to your trading. Common thoughts in Superman syndrome. Out of control autopilot mode thoughts can be things like, I'll get this back. I recovered before and can again. This is easy. It was easy before. I had all those winning trades. I made enough extra money so I have room to play with. I can afford to take a few risks. I'll be okay. I'll just increase size and get it back faster. And I got this. Does this sound familiar? Have you gone through this? And I'm okay, but you're not. Trading changes in Superman are, yikes, you're plagued with uncontrollable errors. You have one error after another, after another, after another, after another, and you're not in control. I had a trader that said, can't do anything right. And I said, okay, well, what happened? Well, I took 7 trades today. I can't do anything right. And I said, okay, well, so you lost it all 7. No, I lost at 5 and I made money at 2. I said, well, what happened at the 5 that you lost money at? And he described what happened. And he says, oh yeah, they're all the same. We have a tendency to repeat the errors and do exactly the same thing in our trading. So if you don't examine it, you don't analyze it, you don't figure out what you did, and you don't change it, you run into the tendency to repeat it. And Superman syndrome perpetuates that. Taking one losing trade after another, repeating the same exact mistakes, adding size to regain losses. That's really the kiss of death in Superman syndrome. Breaking known rules. Losers tend to be bigger than the winners. Start holding a bad trade too long to prove you're right. And rushing into the next trade, or what I call pushing your trading. You go into the next trade. I'll get it back this time. Go into the next trade. Get it back this time. Go into the next trade. Get it back this time. And begin over trading normal daily averages for the day. That's how you know you might be in Superman syndrome. Regaining control. So this is how you fix it. Immediately. Stop trading and think. As soon as possible, take the rest of the day off if you can't gain control. Go play golf, tennis, have fun, do an activity. Move. You must move. Get up and walk away. Don't sit at the screen. If you sit at the screen, it will just suck you in because it's like you've been mesmerized and you're hypnotized. into taking the next trade. I'll get it back. I'll get it back. I'll get it back. And you want to break that pattern. You have to get up physically and move. Seriously, get up physically and move. You have to breathe. A lot of times when you go into Superman syndrome, traders stop breathing. Take some deep breaths when you go to move. Take a walk outside, walk around the block, come back. Do anything to calm down and get under control. Work to regain your composure. If you can't stop, you may be attempting to trade with an emotional block. If you can't stop and you're hooked, then you probably have a block that's hooked you and it's in control and you are not. Get help. Any emotions while trading means you have a block, an emotional block that you're not in control of. Fear, apprehension, uncertainty, hesitation are all emotions you should not be having when you're trading. You should be mindful, in the moment, focusing on what you want to do, and doing that specifically. Don't be these guys. Blocks do not go away. They grow and they get stronger with time. That's one of the reasons why they kept me around Tutor so long. I was the master of breaking blocks. I can get people over their block very quickly. I have over 5,200. When I started counting, people who have gone through the process that I have to break a block successfully. And that's one of the things I'm known for. That's why they call me when kids are stuck. How to regain control? Write this down. To get back in control, examine every losing trade. So now you've got your composure back. You did your walk. You did whatever you had to do. Examine every losing trade and identify what went wrong and what's the fix. I can't tell you how many traders do not do this. I call this problem solution trading. What's the problem? What's the solution? And how do I fix it in my trading? And test it. Try it out. Try out the fixes in sim. Don't be brave. Be smart. That's what sim's for, to try out what's going on. It doesn't work, try something new. It doesn't work, try something new. Don't trade live, real cash when you're trying to fix something. Take all the time you need to get back to calm. The market's not going anywhere. A great trading day like today will come back again. We've got many more coming up. And when this market turns, it's going to turn hard and you can make a fortune in the shorts that are going to happen because it's setting up just like it did 29 years ago. I'm like totally amazed. If you are in any emotion and can't stop, get help. There's very few people that can do this, on their own and fix it. A lot of people think they can. I had one guy call me and he was a multimillionaire. And he called me up and he said, I heard about you. I'm frozen. I'm paralyzed. I can't pull the trigger. I said, well, what happened and how much did you lose? I lost $175,000 in one trade. He says, but I'm a multimillionaire and that's nothing for me. I said, it was enough to stop you. He says, yeah, every time I went into the trading room, I've been there for 3 years. I went to psychologists and therapists and whatever. I can't take a trade. I'm frozen, I'm paralyzed, and I can't pull the trigger. His exact words. Okay, so I did the thing on him, and the next phone call he missed, I said, Hank, where are you? You missed your coaching call. He says, I don't need you anymore. I said, what do you mean don't need me? He says, I took 6 trades today. The first one was flat and the rest were positive. That stupid thing works. Never heard from the guy again. I don't like to coach like that because a lot of other things can happen. So go slow, take smaller wins, but lock in cash. So small wins are better than holding on. I have a lot of resources on my website. Go to the website. In the right-hand corner, there's a free emotional trading test that you can take. And I give you a personalized answers that you get. And I also have a new Facebook page that I started. I'm not big on Facebook, but I started one and I put trading tips in there. You can look it up on Facebook, Robin Dane, the Trader's Coach. There's my private email, and that's my Skype ID. Please be happy, be healthy, have fun, and most of all, please be responsible. I don't want to go too much over my time, and I'll take a few questions. Questions? I hate paying fees. I know that never pay fees, use SIM. Smaller wins, lock in the cash. I call that locking it in, locking it in. That's exactly right. If you high-end traders that I interviewed that were futures traders would lock in, and I worked with a guy who was one of the market wizards, and he used to lock in 8 to 10 ticks, but he would only take the trade if his setup was perfect. And he was so unreliable to place the trade himself that he had a person place the trades across from them. And they had this amazing signal of and coordination of her placing the trades. And she would place 50 shares and 50 contracts and 50 contracts. And he would tell her what price, when to get in, and he would tell her when to get out. He knew that if the trade did not materialize within 3 minutes, he had to get out. The longer he was in the trade, the less likely he would hit his goal. So he set is when he told her to enter and she entered, he put a 3-minute timer on. And he was a multi-million-dollar a year trader and only got between 8 and 10 ticks on what he was doing. And if he went past 3 minutes, he closed the trade. It was the most amazing thing I ever saw. I never saw somebody coordinate with another person. Okay, any questions?
Why do you have audio on and okay?
Did you just type in how do we identify and remove blocks? If you type that in, how do we identify and remove blocks? If you're in any kind of emotion, you have a block. You have a block. And when you have a block, the emotions are kicking in from your subconscious memory, and your conscious mind is not in control. You can shift from your subconscious memory to your conscious mind by asking 2 questions when you get into the trade. What's the market telling me? And what's really happening? And if you answer those 2 questions, what's really happening, and you see one indicator going down, another indicator going down, you're long, and this is going down, get out. You're not reacting to what you're seeing. What's really happening and what's the market trying to tell me? Okay, was there any questions that I missed? I can't tell. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me, and I'm happy to do that. Removing the block is a process. It takes me about 45 minutes to an hour, and you can't only do a block remover. I make it very expensive to do that just alone, because I've had traders that were great traders. I removed the block, and when I didn't talk to them again, and they turned around and they got freed up, they blew their accounts out. So I won't do a blockbuster. I call it a blockbuster by itself anymore, because I would be irresponsible in doing that and putting somebody at risk to blowing up their account. So I do a blockbuster, and I do 2 sessions after that. All my sessions are recorded, so you have it. And once you do the blockbuster with me, you have a lifetime guarantee to do a blockbuster anytime you need it, because you can get a block in your head at any time. They come and go. And so you have a lifetime guarantee. You call me up and say, I need to do a blockbuster. I say, okay. And we figure it out. We do the blockbuster and you're good to go. you'll free up. Any other questions? I don't want to go past because we got other presenters to go. Health is wealth. Yes. Any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you so much for having me. You guys are awesome. I look forward to meeting you all. And thank you so much for your for being there. Traders are great. They're different people. We've got a lot of money to be made, and the markets are gonna turn. And when they do, I mean, we're making money now, but I tell you, when this thing drops, it's going to drop like a stone. So with that, I'm going to turn off my screens if I can figure that out. I'm going to stop sharing. Share. Stop.
I got you covered.
Oh, okay, great. Have a great day. I can't stay very long. You guys are terrific.
All right. Thank you, Robin. That was a great presentation. And I would just reiterate the fact that you can have the best trading system in the world, and you can have the best traders in the world sitting right next to you, showing you how to trade. And if you don't have your emotions in check, if you have blocks like Robin is talking about, you're not going to be able to implement the strategy correctly, and you're going to end up struggling, and going to take a lot longer to get where you want to be because of those trading blocks, or those emotional blocks that you have. And I've been there. I still work through things all the time. You know, some of the best traders in the world, they have their own coaches, their own psychologists. We're all working to be at that peak level of performance. And so it's always a work in progress. So, hey, get in touch with Robin if you need help with that, because again, she's one of the top coaches in the country. So thank you again, Robin, for taking time out to come make the presentation. And without further ado here, we don't want to run out of time. We're going to bring in Joel now, who will introduce himself. He's been trading for over 20 years. I think he even worked on the floor just like Robin did. And so, Joel, if you are ready, you can go ahead and share your screen. And Joel's going to share a trading strategy with you. So we will see here.
Let's see.
All right.
Can you hear me, Jay? Or
yeah, can hear you. Just have to share your screen now.
okay, let's see. Let's try that. Is
All
that
right.
good?
Yeah, you're all set. You're all ready to go.
All right. Excellent. Okay. Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much, Jay, for making all this possible. And thank you, Robin, for the psychology of trading and working to the optimum performance. That is definitely something that's an ongoing process for myself. I'm sure everyone who's been at this for a while. And thank you for everyone that showed up tonight. Hope this information is helpful. I'm not going to go through my background at all. This is an indicator that I have used and I still use. And I just want to share the research that I've done with this, as well as how I use the MACD indicator. So without any more ado, I like that idea also. If everyone could ask different questions all the way at the end, that would be awesome, because I see we're running a little behind. And like Jay said, we'd like to cut it off before 10 o'clock tonight. No, I'm only kidding. So with the first screen that you see there, the MACD, how to use the MACD to create more profitable trades with future and swing trades. Can everyone see my screen once again? Okay, great. What is really the MACD? It stands for the moving average convergence divergence indicator. I know that's a mouthful. is a trend following momentum indicator that shows the relationship between two different moving averages of a security's price. Some people have asked me, Joel, what's a convergence? What's a divergence? I always get those confused. So the convergence is when you have the moving averages moving towards one another. And divergence is when the moving averages move far away from one another. So what I look for usually is a divergence, a great divergence, and then a quick convergence of these moving averages. Secondly, traders use the MACD to identify when there's a bullish or bearish momentum for their buy or sell trades. Also, some people use it for the exit of the trades. I don't, but I mostly use it for the bullish trades. A little more details of what these lines are. The MACD line is a 12-day EMA, which stands for the exponential moving average, as compared to a simple moving average, less the 26-day EMA. And then the closing prices are used for these moving averages. And the 9-day EMA of the MACD line moves so much faster, and it acts as a signal and identifies the turns that you need when you're trading. And a lot of people ask, well, what are the typical settings? Do you change them? I really don't, but I know there are people that do change these settings. And typically they're the 12, 26, and 9. The platform that I work with mostly is the Thinkorswim platform, but you could use the MACD for any, pretty much any platform. You could load the MACD in there. The question a lot of people ask, well, how effective is the MACD? I was really impressed, with a lot of the research that has been done. And one particular person is called Trading Rush. He's a very popular YouTube channeler. He backtested the MACD using the standard 12, 26, and 9 settings. And he was amazed to discover that the MACD was the best indicator when he tested it manually with 100 trades. And it had a 60% win rate. And he tested many, many different indicators, popular indicators. And like I mentioned there, that it was more profitable than the RSI, the stochastics, the Bollinger Bands, etc. Part of his testing is that he recommends using the MACD in a trending rather than a range-bound market. And it will give you a much higher win rate. I call that just a choppy market when it is just in between channels, so you do not want to use it then. And he also uses the 200 moving average to determine the trend, whether it's going up, down, or sideways. Once again, he just used it in this testing with the up and down markets. Also, how effective is the MACD? Another person, Frankie Law, he's one of the millionaire traders in the book, which I highly recommend. I've read it many times. It's called The Millionaire Traders: How Everyday People Are Beating Wall Street at Its Own Game. His main indicator was the MACD. And he looks at the daily chart for key support levels, and then he trades with a 1-minute chart. And this particular person was a Forex trader, but you could use it, like I said, on any thing that you trade, whether it's working with stocks, futures, or the Forex. By the way, he took a $200,000 account and grew it to $6 million. Here's some good visuals here, an example of a MACD buy signal. By the way, on the below chart, if you are using Thinkorswim, I personally like using the green and red, green meaning go, and then the red being the baseline, and the green is the 9 EMA. And when the green 9 EMA crosses above the red 1226 EMA, that's considered a buy. And I also use it when it's below that 0 line, this purple line. So incidentally, I increase the line density from 1 to 3 with these and change the colors, but you could work with any color. And you could see that this particular one was a really nice trade. It crossed here, and then we had a really nice candle up until the, incidentally, this white line's a 10 EMA, and this one's a 50 EMA, and the purple one, I have it as my VWAP. Another example of a MACD for a sell signal. As you can see with the arrow here, it's going below the red line. So you could have easily taken this trade going through the 10 and the 50 EMA and just followed it down with this ES, the futures trade. This is a 1 minute chart. Here are some important points I feel to increase your profitability when using the MACD. First is waiting for exhaustion or a strong sell-off with your buy position. Indicators that I have used or other people have used to see if it is exhausted or has gone down far enough is the lower range of a Keltner channel. I use it at the -3 ATR. And in this example, I'm working with the CCI, and I really like it when it's touching or going under the 200, so the -200 with the CCI. So that's usually the first thing that takes place is the exhaustion with the CCI under 200. Then secondly, I usually get like the MACD with the crossover, or sometimes, I gotta be honest, I sometimes not even wait for it to cross over because it is a lagging indicator. And then I also use other signals. And this one, I have it as a PPS, which is a Pearson signal. Number two, like I mentioned in the beginning, please don't use it, you know, in choppy or sideways market. The MACD lines are just so tightly compressed. This isn't even that tightly compressed, but other times the lines are so close to one another. And you could see it's just going up and down, you know, with the 50 EMA and just a range bound in a very tight range, you know, with the ES. These are, like I said, lower probability trades, which give a lot of false signals. And I've been faked out so many times trading these, and I've lost a lot of money thinking that I knew more than the signals really are meant to give you. Number three, your buy trade must have enough room above to be successful. If you have a buy signal and there is a strong resistance point close to your entry, once again, don't enter your trade because this is a lower probability trade, because more than likely it'll bounce off a key line of resistance. And in this case, it's the 50 EMA that's acting as resistance. So even though the CCI was almost minus 200, and here, and you had a crossover, you could see it was not a good trade. It was, on this particular one, is just like 2 points going up to the line and then reversing. Different resistance points can be, like I mentioned, the VWAP, the 50, 100, 200 moving average, previous day or night highs or lows, high volume areas, etc. And also, I really like looking at the candles to give me an additional confirmation. I love it when I have like a hammer candle or a doji or a moderate size engulfing candle from the previous candle. These candles, I feel, show more conviction or potential reversals. Also notice the great distance. In this particular situation, when I did have the buy signal with the second hammer, I had 9 points that I could trade to until the 50 EMA. And yeah, like I said, I started. So let me just show you the sequence once again. Number one, it was minus 200 in the CCI. Number two, I noticed an exhaustion taking place with the sell-off that was here. And even though it had a couple hammers in here, this particular one gave me a signal, a green signal. And by the way, that green signal is a TTM scalper alert. Then I got a second signal, which is the PPS. So I got a double confirmation. Also notice that these candles were trading outside of the -3 ATR, and then it started to reverse and going into the -3 ATR. And then lastly, we got a nice reversal, and that was a great trade. Here's a close-up of that same slide, just in case it was difficult to see really what took place. The first hammer candlestick with the green arrow, in my mind, it's saying, well, get ready. The second one with the white arrow gives much higher probability trade because the green line has now crossed over the red line with the MACD. And notice the smooth divergence with the MACD before it crossed over, instead of being choppy and really close to one another. I love it when I have this kind of divergence to a nice smooth convergence. And in case you're wondering what these lines are, I've been experimenting with them. You know, it might be overkill, but with these green and blue lines. But it's an additional confirmation for me. These are the 5 and 8 EMA. And I just like it when I start seeing some separation with these. And it just gives me an idea of that it's a stronger trend. Okay. lot of people, I noticed, you know, buy and sell stocks. So I want to give a couple of examples of how I use the MACD to buy stocks. I usually use a daily or the weekly. So in this example, this is a daily MACD buy signal with stocks. Here we use the MACD histogram. I added the histogram in addition to the MACD crossing lines. And I've been using a little more. It just gives me an additional confirmation. And when I saw that I had a couple green bars and they're trending higher, that this is showing me that there's potential strength, you know, with this particular trade. So I would be entering right around here, possibly pulling off some on this area here with the 50 EMA. So this would be each one's bar. So this is like a week trade. The second example, this was a trade that I got in with Google, where we had the CCI, you know, with the minus 200. It had a great sell-off. And then I had a doji, you know, here with the low hitting the -3 ATR, the average true range. And I got my signal here from the PPS, and I entered right here at the second day. And once again, this is a daily, and I just brought it up to the 50 EMA. Something that I just started about a month or two ago, and I wish I would have done this earlier, is working with a weekly. So let me give you a couple of examples, and we're almost finished here, of using the weekly MACD for reversal trade with stocks. So you could see and that we got a really nice reversal here. This was huge sell-off, and a lot of people don't know, when should I enter? Should I enter here? Well, Joel, I got a hammer. No. And just notice how nice and clean this MACD crossover was. So once I got the first dot here, I waited another week. And then I had the signal with the PPS arrow, and I entered right here. So let's see. By the way, with this one, you would be entering in the beginning of May in 2020, by the way, and exited in 2021. So if you like long trades and you don't like to trade much, you know, some of these work out really well. This is the last example showing the profit potential using the weekly MACD for people who like the longer term trades. This is a weekly chart with I love the name of it. You know, it's called Lazy, the stock symbol. So so you could see it was basically going sideways, and then it was a big flush out here, right around $2 a share. And then I noticed that it looks like it's finally at exhaustion. It was below the -200 with the CCI. And a couple weeks later, then I finally got a crossover with the MACD. I noticed that it was trending, and it was the bars were getting larger. But I was still concerned with the 50 EMA, and I didn't want to take it until it broke through there because, like I mentioned before, I find the 50 EMA creates a lot of resistance, and sometimes it'll go through and then it'll bounce back, and then sometimes it will then really take off. So I was willing for a small stock like this, you know, you could buy it at $3 and then just wait for it, and then just wait for whatever target that you want, you know. So it could be going back to the midpoint here with the Keltner channels, or you could wait for the upper Keltner channel. So for myself, I wanted it to break through on the midpoint of the Keltner channels. So it would be from $3 to $18 on that. Just a little summary statement. I feel the MACD is a great indicator for stocks and futures, but please test it first. Remember, trading is more than using indicators. I've discovered in all the years that I've been trading that trading is one of the most challenging and difficult jobs I have ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of different jobs and had different professions in my life. I also feel that becoming a successful trader requires you to constantly evaluate and refine how you can perfect the usage of your indicators, as well as find out how you can function at your peak performance psychologically, just like Robin was emphasizing. In the next slide, I'll just leave you with a quote from one of the most successful traders in history. He said, "Money is made by sitting, not trading." Jesse Livermore. Analysis and patience make up 99% of your work, and placing a trade the remaining 1%. Thank you. I hope that was helpful.
Thank you, Joel. Does anyone have any questions for Joel here? If you do, you can put them in the chat, or if you're brave enough, you can even come up on the video and ask the questions. And if we don't have any questions in the next few moments here, we're going to move to the next presentation, only because we are getting kind of late, and I know that people have other things going on. And I do want to at least get the two other presentations in. So I don't see any questions coming in. So Joel, I want to thank you for that awesome presentation. A great way to use MACD to help leverage some of the other things that you're looking at in order to enter the market and have confidence that the market's going to do what you expect. And so I really appreciate that perspective. And you can really take what Joel has told you about using MACD and even using the CCI and stuff, and having, you know, a system that you follow. And when it does what you are waiting for it to do, you then have the confidence to execute your trade. And so you can take that concept and apply it to pretty much any indicator that you're going to be using. And so I really appreciate that presentation. And now we're going to jump to what we have is Unsettled Trader, who's going to take it away and talk about his Forex trading system. Excellent. And maybe even tell you about his trading room. So I'll let Unsettled Trader take the realm here, or the helm here. And if you have a presentation, share your screen, or just go for it.
Mic check, can you hear me?
Yes, got you.
Awesome. I'm going to try and figure out how to share my screen because I didn't come in earlier.
You should just at the bottom there, it says share screen. When you move your cursor. Yeah, great.
Awesome. You guys see my screen?
I'll let you do your thing.
Awesome. Can you guys see what I see? Pink line?
I see it. Perfect. Yeah.
All right. So I've been trading for about 6 years. Gone through a lot of strategies, a lot of systems. Most of the market is saturated with education, and that goes for every asset class, in my opinion. So I kind of came up with my own strategy. It's not really on the internet. They can be found by anything that's widely known. And I built a community off of it, teaching them how I see the market. And it's based off of how characters in a video game move from point A to point B. And that's kind of like the simplest version of how I see the market. So if you're thinking about a video game, you have a character, right? It has to go from one spot to the next, right? It's a calculation, right? So I was wondering if the markets might move in a similar fashion. I was like, can I find reference points in the market that are going to be able to predict the next market move, right? And you know, that it's a really big challenge. That's kind of what we're all trying to do, is figure out the turning points, right? And then people trade with the trend if they can't pick turning points, which is fine. But if you can find a strategy that covers all three market profiles, consolidation, trending, and counter, you pretty much nail everything, right? So that's kind of what my goal for the last few years has been, to figure out what to do. So how do I know what I just drew here is going to work here? And what do you mean by that? And then we're going to look. So would you agree this is a pretty good entry if you're now looking to go long, right? And this is the hourly chart if you're not familiar with that. So every day divider, or every line, is a separate day. Each candle is 1 hour in the Forex market. How do I know here that this is going to be another turning point? Remember, I'm using this candle on this hour to predict this level, right? And you're like, well, that doesn't seem right. But could you even go as far to say, I knew here that the market was going to turn here? Well, I use the same range, right? Very interesting. How do I know this is a new candle to watch for a new projection? Very interesting, right? Next day, same thing. Now, why is this happening, right? How do I know what candles to use as reference points? How do I know what range to use as reference points? How do I know this is going to continuously work, right? How do I know that? How much backtesting do you put into something like this? Like, well, obviously, if you do it for a little bit, you're going to put a lot of time and effort into it, which I have. And then I started crowdsourcing how to make it even better. I got about 500 people to work on this, and we got to a point now where I am personally funding people to show that they can do this. And I'm paying for them to go into a prop firm and take their challenge, which requires like a risk model of no more than 5% drawdown a day, or 10% for the entire challenge. If you pass, you get $10,000 to trade with from the firm's capital. And then you scale from there. So the highest account they offer is a $200,000 account. And you're pretty much free rolling it off of what I am offering. And I'm giving you the signals. Not many people are doing that. So how do I know there? It's going to work here. This is an interesting one. How do I know here? Well, it doesn't look like it works, right? We've actually gotten past this, how to use different portions of this candle here to get the projected level, and they're like simple support and resistance, right? It works there. How do I know this is going to continue to work? All right. So, and I could continue doing this until we get to present day without showing you exactly how I know when this is going to change, right? Like obviously this range is going to change at some point. Did I figure out when it's going to change? Typically, yes, I did. There are specific days it's going to change. We know when to look for that and how to approach it. Pretty cool. What's also interesting is I heard people talking about indicators today, and there's lots of indicators, and 99% of them basically repaint, right? They repaint and they're lagging, or they're too early or too late, right? Every situation, every situation you're gonna see the indicator go overbought or oversold. We already know hours in advance. Here, we know here, we look for it to go overbought. That's here. It's already showing. Oversold. We know in advance where to look for that level. So who's leading who? Are we telling the indicator, or is the indicator telling us, right? Indicator comes in a little quicker, that's fine. How do we know where to go? So we're picking the correct spots inside the indicator where it's going to be overbought, oversold, right? Let me get rid of this. Are we selling here? No, we're selling here. Are we buying here? No. Like, are we selling here? No. Are we buying here? Yes. Are we selling here? No. Are we selling here? Yes. And we can just do this and pick out when the indicators are going to tell us in the correct fashion of what's going to be overbought, oversold. And now, without going into too much more about this, because it's kind of like been a group effort that I'm working with a close 100 friends of mine on the internet. So if you guys have questions about this, put it in the chat.
Yeah, so I have a question.
Shoot.
What you drew that box and then you used that box to then redraw. Where did you? How did you identify that box in that range?
Exactly. So there's 2 specific days I'm looking to find that box particularly, and then we go into a confirmation the next day to make sure it's a valid box, and then we just simply run that box until it fails. The first time it fails, we get triggered. So hey, look. Why are we looking for a new box, right? But we've started to recognize what days it fails on, and it's the same 2 days you find it on.
Interesting.
Yep, pretty cool, huh? Any more questions?
Yeah. So you said you run a trade room where you're kind of doing this all morning or whenever you run. Where do we get access to that trade room?
I'll just leave my email and you can just email me.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna give you guys my troll account until.
All right, we'll type it in the chat here.
I'll type it up on the screen.
Unsettled Trader 23.
23143@gmail.
Okay. And so if we're interested in learning how to do this and then getting in the trade room, we'll just send you an email and you'll get us hooked up on Discord.
Yeah, because I mean, when I had the Discord open, I got it to like 500 people, and it just becomes a mess when you get too many people in there because you have people trying to talk over each other. And so I kept the community pretty small. I'm capped at pretty much right around 100, but I'm gonna kick some people and let some more people in, about 5 to 10 people. So there'll be some new openings if you guys are interested in this. So another question I usually get is, does this work in stocks, futures, commodities, all these other things? And I don't really trade anything other than FX. So other people have come to me and said, hey man, this works in stocks. I'm like, that's cool. I know it personally works in Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's the only ones I chart. That's kind of cool. And I obviously look at metals. So this is a typical chart that I have calling this daily, right? And these are all just the levels I'm looking at. So previous day, we had a nice 300-point rally. I don't know what that is in futures. Maybe that's like a $30 move that you guys would care about. So that was pretty cool. We called that 2 days ago now, and we wrote it the entire way. So if this is something you guys are interested in, just shoot me an email, and then I hope to see you guys at the live meetup, maybe in the next month or two, and then we can go further from there and see who's interested.
Awesome. I mean, I'm still kind of just like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So I definitely want to pick your mind a little bit more, but it'll probably be better in person. We can kind of check stuff out.
Yeah.
And just in the because of the time aspect here. But if anyone has any questions, go ahead and shoot them out right now. Come on the audio or text or put it in the chat. And if I don't see anything here, I am going to just wrap this up and we'll get to the final presentation. So just give it 1 second. So it looks like we don't really have any questions.
So this question is, so to understand you correctly, you're looking at the previous day, then that determines next day. Yeah, sort of. Like we actually put a lot of emphasis on zero GMT because we've gone through a couple of revisions, but then we also look at the market right around midday. because there's so many candles in Forex as compared to stocks, we separate the day in half, and we're able to get 1 to 2 signals a day that we're looking at, and that's it. We're looking at the market one to two levels, and from there we have an entry system to try and get us the best price at our level. But
Okay.
the next question that I get next is it scalable, right? Can we work this to 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly? Absolutely. Under 1 hour, it gets a little trickier because I start losing where I can have the reference points to start looking at, right? Then you start getting into like session highs and lows, and then you're getting into like 4 to 6 signals a day. I'm not a big fan of multiple signals.
Awesome. Does anyone have any more questions?
It said, does this only work for swinging? Typically, I like to be intraday to swing. So like I like 1 signal to per day to try and capture the majority of the swing for the day. But there's nothing in there saying if you have that direction down, that you can't just get in there on like a 5-minute chart and just start trading that one direction. That eliminates half of what you're trying to accomplish, right? Like most people are trying to buy and sell on the same day. I think that's skewed. If you know the direction of the day, you should just be trading that direction. It makes it so much easier. Yes, I use mostly the hourly. If TOS is total crap for futures, I don't know what TOS is. Sorry.
Thinkorswim.
Thinkorswim. Okay, cool. No, I use IG. I think it is not IG, or I use a different platform for stocks, but I don't really play with stocks too much.
And so in your trade room, you're basically telling people, okay, we've got the signal, or we're drawing it here. And
yeah,
so now we have our support level or our resistance level to take.
Yeah, so I have about 10 traders, and we're all looking at different charts, right? So we have at any given time, because you can scale this to multiple pairs, right? So all of us, and once some of the veterans in the group, they're like, hey man, I got a signal on this pair. I'm like, cool. And then we all look at that pair for the given time.
Nice.
It's not so fast that we're, it's a 1 minute chart and you're going to miss the signal. It's like, all right, this is going to take like an hour or 2 to develop, right? So you have a little bit of time, and we do this every day.
That's
so
cool.
We have multiple traders looking at the same strategy, and we can all verify if that is a correct signal or not. Now, a lot of strategies are broken in that sense. You could have 10 different traders working the same strategy and have 10 different things, like 10 different ideas. I'm like, that is trash. Like, there's a problem with the strategy or how it's presented. So that's just kind of my rant about that, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. It interests me. So I definitely like to see it kind of how it is on a live market, in real time.
For sure.
So if there are no other questions, we will wrap it up, and we'll get to the automated trading specialist here in Las Vegas. So I want to thank Untitled Trader for presenting this. It sounds really interesting. I'm kind of a little confused as to how it works, but obviously it's working, and I'm almost interested to join your trade room and just check it out. So if you guys are interested in that, he did leave his email, which what happened to my chat box? Oh, okay. So in the chat room, I put his email. So if you just scroll up, it's unsettledtrader23143@gmail.com. And like he said, he'll try to accommodate you to get you in the room. Remember, it's free to get in the room, and I'm sure you can then follow the strategy from there. And then they also have these challenges. He's trying to get people to be in a proprietary trading firm where they will fund you, assuming that you can prove that you are consistently profitable and you're not, like he said, making 5-10% cuts in your equity curve there in one day. So with that being said, I'm going to jump over now and give the platform to Martin, and he's here with Predict Trader and an automated trading wizard. So I'll leave it for him to now take the helm. And so go for it.
Hello, everyone.
All right.
Okay. What is the chat here? Share screen. Okay. My name is Martin Kucira. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, everything. I can hear you and see the whole thing.
Okay. Very good. Yes, I have been trading for over 12 years. I've traded with Jay. Jay, I want to thank you very much for taking the stewardship of Las Vegas Meetup Traders Meetup. It's a big group. We have over 1,000 traders. I've been a member for umpteen years. I think over 10 years. And because of the COVID, there were some organizational thing. And Jay, thank you very much for being our new captain. So I want to talk about automated trading and the benefits of trading with automation. Before I go forward, I have to make a disclaimer. It is required by law to inform you that this is only for educational purposes, and this is not professional advice or legal advice whatsoever. So my background is I have been trading. I started trading with a group that taught us trading, and we were like 600 people in a group, and we traded live with our mentor, and almost all of us lost money. It was not the signals. The signals are very trivial. It was our emotional fears and greed that made us lose money. The signals are easy to see. As you can see, here is a today. It was trending up. So we take a trade when the trend is up and there's a retracement. Like you can see here, there was a retracement where I drew the arrows. This was in the morning. There were retracements, and when I say we took, I mean the automated system took trades. I trade on 5 seconds, but you can trade on any time frame because the trend will be going in one direction. If it's going up, it may look choppy on small time frames, but if it's going up, we look for pullbacks and we take trades. There are many studies there that can help you identify the pullbacks or the signals to get in, but that's beyond the scope of the presentation. So I want to talk about the benefits of using automated trading. Like the first two presenters, they talked about the psychology of trading. It is a real big thing. If you don't have your emotions together, trading is very difficult. So the problems with manual trading are the following. You get in a trade late. If you have to wait for a signal to pop up, you have to be glued on the screen. You have to sit on the screen and wait for that signal. And sometimes it takes forever. And you can miss it if you go to the bathroom, go to make coffee, or your spouse calls you and you have to go and help her with something. Another problem is you exit the trade early because, and this happens quite often. Say you lost the first trade and then you get into the second trade and it goes towards your profit target and it starts going back towards your entry, and you start thinking, well, I'll get out with a, some little bit of profit, and you get out early. Early means you get out before it hits your profit target or stops you out. Also, another problem is moving your stops. If you're trading manually, you tend to move your stops, which is a very bad habit for traders, because when you move your stops, basically you are breaking your rules. If you are a trader, you have to have rules that you follow and you have to follow them religiously. If you don't follow your rules, it's just as good as not having rules. You set rules on the fly according to the market, which really can mess you up. Sometimes you fear getting in a trade. If the market is moving very fast, the prices are moving very fast, like the candle shoots up to green and shoots back to red, one candle. Like I said, I trade on 5 seconds time frame. So, and at that time, I'll be looking at 2 seconds candles at the same time. Though I'm automated trading with an automated system, I still look at the 2 seconds bar. So if the bar is developing real quickly, gyrating between green and red, you can be tempted to jump out of a trade. You can be tempted to not trade because it's too volatile. Sometimes if you're lucky and you hit many trades, you can be tempted to keep trading until the cows comes home, and that's over trading. So with the automated system, you get to set all these parameters. It's a total set and forget system. You set when to start trading. Myself, I start trading at 3 o'clock because I trade the European Euro USD future, and it makes a big move around 3 o'clock. So I wake up at 3 o'clock and set to start trading, and then I go back to sleep, and then I wake up at 5:20 to look at the market economic news that comes out at 5:30. There is economic news and financial news around that time, like job numbers, like consumer index numbers. And then I set my application to start trading at 5:35, and I go back to sleep. I usually wake up around 7, but I've been waking up around 5. I've been staying up last week to watch Jay's live trading sessions in a Discord. So you can set it to trade anytime. I don't like trading at night because it's choppy, and also, even though I'm automated trading, if I'm in a live trade at night, I don't get a good sleep. So, but you can set it to trade at night. You can set how many trades to take to quit. This is different from setting your daily limits. You can set how many trades to lose to quit. That's different from setting your daily limit. Say you have 5 trades, and you want to keep going until you are stopped out. Then you lose, say, the next 2 trades, then you are done for the day. And at the end of the day, Predict Trader, the system is called Predict Trader. At the end of the day, the system will, at the end of the market trading day, which is 1 o'clock our time here, if you are trading the ES, the system will close you out 15 seconds before the market close. So it's kind of running late. If you would like to try Predict Trader, please go to predicttrader.com. On Monday, next Monday, I'll start live streaming the trading. Basically, I'll be showing you the system taking trades and answering questions in the chat room. I will not be making any presentation. The link is on the screen, and it will be starting at 9 a.m. After Jay's live trading market analysis has ended, and there's no registration required. So there's my contact, Martin Kucira, and the email and the phone number if you want to contact me. And if there is any question, you can email me, text me, or you can put it in the chat now, or you can contact Jay. I'm always in contact with Jay.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Just give it a second here. I do want to thank Martin for doing this. Again, everybody who made presentations today, They just stepped forward, and I'm really thankful that they did. Otherwise, you just had an hour or two of me blabbering on. So it's good that we have a number of different topics. So we had a psychologist, or at least a psychological aspect of trading, which really, this is exactly what Martin is talking about. So if you have trouble putting trades on and you're moving stops and all that, which I'm guilty of myself, you can use an automated trading strategy like Predict Trader to just place the trades for you. And so he is going to be broadcasting that live for free, I guess, pretty much every morning around 9 a.m. Pacific. And so I personally have used the system myself, and it does work. And so if this is something for you where you don't want to be glued to the screens, like I actually love just being in the market and doing my analysis and everything. But if that's just too much for you, this is like the best option. You can basically get up, like you said, put the program on, let it start to trade, go do something else, come back and see how you did for the day. You set your losses, so some days you're red, some days you come back and you're at a beautiful win for the day. So a great option for anyone that can't get a grip on their emotions. And so we got a question here. Can you earn a great living from using Predict Trader? So Martin, I'll let you take that.
I did.
Okay, there you
Absolutely.
go.
Absolutely. I that's what I'm doing. I'm a stay-at-home trader. That's it. I trade when the market ends at 1 o'clock. I go and play tennis. I'm a tennis player, and that's all.
Yeah. So it's really, I think, for somebody too, let's say you're more of like an investor, and you don't want to spend all your time doing market analysis intraday and trying to find entries and worrying about stops and having no control of your emotions. This is a great way to take a chunk of your money, put it in an account on NinjaTrader, and just let this automated system build up your account over time. So it's made for NinjaTrader, I know, because I've used it. And see if there's any other questions here. And we'll let any questions come in, and I'll kind of just wrap things up only because we are at the end here and it's getting late. So I do appreciate everyone who ended up showing up. There were 54 people who actually registered. I think we ended up getting about 24 people in here. And so that's a pretty good return there. Typically, you only see maybe 1 to 10%, and we ended up getting almost half. So that's a really good deal there. And I just want to let everyone know that we're going to meet in person and actually have a real meeting and be able to hang out with each other and shoot ideas. And then I would really like to have something like a live trade session where we all basically meet up. You can bring your computer, your laptop, maybe some extra screens. And if we have a group of people, or at least different groups of people that are trading different things, they can group up and kind of determine what stocks they want to trade, or if you're trading futures, what's going to be happening for the morning. And then we can just kind of shoot the shit and, whatever, drink some coffee or whatever it is you drink, and, whatever you smoke or whatever, and just kind of hang out. So we'll get that going over the next month. And I guess until then, we have actually a few questions. So there is back testing, and from MetaTrader, I don't think it works for MetaTrader, but Martin, do you have anything to add about that?
No, only on NinjaTrader. This system is for NinjaTrader.
It's for NinjaTrader, and I think I use NinjaTrader. I think it's a really easy way to trade on, at least for futures. So,
but if you want the MetaTrader one, we can develop a custom one for you.
there you go. So they can work out something for MetaTrader if that's what you want to do. But I mean, I personally like NinjaTrader. So Thanks, Edwin. Thanks for being here for the whole time. There's, not too many people actually stuck around, so appreciate it. And I hope you got something out of it. And the idea is here is for all of us to grow as traders, even us professionals, we run into trouble, and just going over the material helps to make it more concrete and remind us when the next morning comes, oh yeah, we were just talking about this yesterday. That's right. I do not want to overtrade, or I should stop hesitating. I need to take my trades. So this is really going to help everyone. And with that being said, I think there are no other questions, and there's really not much else to really go over. And so what's the Discord? So I actually run a live trade room, but it is a paid system, a paid room where we go over my trading system every morning and we trade. And so if you're interested in that, I will put the link right in here. Well, actually, I'll just give you my Facebook and my website. And so you can go there and see what we're doing. So I'll give you my website here, and then I have a YouTube. So I might as well give you the YouTube, because I started uploading the first half hour of our live trade room, where I'm actually doing my pre-market analysis and determining what we think the market's going to do coming into the open on the S&P 500 futures. And I'll tell you, we're pretty darn good. More often than not, we're predicting what the market's going to do into the open. So the last 2 days, literally right when the market opened, we were long, and we had a long bias, and we took the market. Yesterday it only moved 8 points, but today it moved 30 points up. So we're doing this every morning. So I'll give you my YouTube link here, and you can see for yourself. You can watch them if you can stand listening to my voice and watching, say, 20-30-minute videos where we go through everything. But every morning we do a pre-market analysis, and then we actually trade for the first hour and a half of the session. So you can check that out. And again, if you are more of an automated person, you don't want to have emotions involved, I think that Martin's system with Predict Trader is one of the best things you can find out there for automated trading. It doesn't really get any better. Martin, can you field that? How much do you charge for the program? Is it a monthly fee, or?
It's $999 for a 1-year license.
There you go.
I would say $1,000
So $999
for 1-year
for
license.
an entire year of the service. So not a bad deal, especially considering that, if you're trading even just one ES contract, and within a few days, if you get some good trades, even in one good trade, you could probably make that, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you'd make your money back. Same thing with my room. We do charge, but you have to understand that this is not like I'm literally coaching you for the first 2 hours of the open, and I'm telling you everything I'm seeing and why I'm trading at certain levels and what we're looking for. So really, I consider it like live coaching on the market for 2 hours every morning of the week.
Jay, you are teaching people how to fish.
Yeah, so I'm trying to teach people how to actually trade and fish. So I'm not just saying just buy or just sell. I'm telling you why, so that you can learn over time, and then you don't even need to be in the chat room anymore.
That's right.
So I'm trying my best here, and the track record has been really, really phenomenal. But I'm not going to say anymore. If you're interested, there's videos. You can see all the proof for yourself. I don't have anything to hide. So and the Discord is we're giving out a free week. So if you want to come check it out for free for a week, you can sign up at the website, and I'll give you the website for that. Put it up here for you. So at this website, you can sign up for the live room, and then we'll give you the first week free, and then it will charge your credit card after that. But rest assured, if you forget to cancel before they charge you, it's not like they're going to take your money and run. So if it ends up triggering and you don't want to stay in the room, we're not going to take your money. It'll be refunded, and we'll cancel the credit card. But you know, if you're a new trader or even an experienced trader and you just want someone that's giving you the confidence to take your trades, I think that what I'm offering is one of the most valuable things. For $500 a month, if you get a trading tutor or a mentor, they're probably going to be charging you thousands of dollars a month. And this is basically, you know, getting that 2 hours every single morning and in the live market. I'm not telling you theoretically how to trade and then you sit in front of the market and you don't know what the hell to do. I'm actually sitting with you as the market's going, telling you where to take trades, where the market's actually going to go, and it goes there. I have, again, a very good track record now. So if you're interested in that, it's $500 a month, and you can check it out for a week for free if you want. So if there's any other questions, I will stick around here. We were supposed to go until 7:30, so we ended up making pretty good time here. And then there's also the Las Vegas community Discord. Thanks, Edwin. So in that community Discord, it's open. We're all there to help you learn how to trade. You don't have to join my trade room. You can ask me questions. I'm willing to help. You know, this isn't all about money. This is really about helping people become successful. And when you get it, if you do try the trade room out, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to feed you a line of bull. I started this trade room because people were like, dude, why aren't you make these calls, they're so good, why aren't you just making them for other people? So that's kind of why I started it. And for me, it definitely feels really good and rewarding when people are like, dude, I just made $500. Like I took one trade out of the open and I'm done. You know, so I'm biased because it's my room, but I would literally say that I'm running one of the best live trade rooms in the world because of what I'm doing. And I say that, you know, from the bottom of my heart. I really believe. I've looked at other trade rooms. I've been in other trade rooms. Some people, they just tell you levels and then you go, well, why did you get that level? Why are we going long? I'm not telling you, you know, it's a secret. Other rooms, you know, you don't even see them trading. So it's, I don't know. I don't want to just shit on anyone else, but I'm just telling you that I have a lot of confidence that you're going to learn something if you check the trade room out. So what future you usually trade? So I'm trading just the S&P 500 futures. So I don't look at anything else. I never have looked at anything else. My whole philosophy is that stick to one thing and get good at one thing. If you can get good at one thing, then that's all you need. If you could just pull $100 out a day and do it consistently over time, then you can increase your size. That's 200 a day. Remember, trading's a journey. It's not about making a bunch of money in a day. People invest and they're blown away when they make 5-10% a year. We can make 5-10% a day, and it compounds if you can do that every single morning. Of course, you're going to have losing days. It's not all, you know, sunshine and rainbows. Trading is hard, and there's going to be difficulties, and it's disappointing some days. But overall, you know, if you have a system that really does work, then over time you're going to see the results. If you can get over the psychology. So I think that's it. Unless anyone has any other questions. And again, I'm going to go ahead and try to get us like a live trading session where we all just kind of hang out. We'll bring our computers, we can trade, and then we'll do a more formal kind of presentation, and maybe we'll just pull up a chart and just talk about what the overall market is doing right now. You know, just the overall equity markets or some stocks. I don't look at anything else other than S&P, but we can just, what I look at, we can apply to everything else. So we can look at charts, talk about what's going on in Forex or whatever else. So yeah, I think that's it. And definitely, guys, thank you for coming out. I appreciate you being here. And we'll kick it off, hopefully starting next month with like a meet and greet and kind of hang out. So with that being said, I think we'll close it out. and we'll chat soon. Cool, guys. Yep. Be blessed and be profitable. All righty.